Good morning, noon, or night. My name is Jet, and welcome to my channel, JITV, Jet in the Valley. This one's going to be called Souled Individuals Chastening. So, chastening is when someone is doing something that's not in their best interest, that's not right, and it's not of love, and you have to teach them not to do that anymore. So, for example, if a child comes and they yoink your cat up by the tail, you have to chasten them healthily. This is not any sort of abuse. This is not unnecessary discipline or cruel and unusual punishment. If the child pulls the cat by the tail, that is not loving. That is not of love. That's disrespectful to the animal, and you have to teach them that you can't do that. That's what's happening on a very large scale to humans. If you are doing things, if you understand love, you're a souled individual, meaning you have a soul, you have an animating life force energy that understands and comprehends love, spirit. That's my best definition for that. If you understand love and you're out functioning in the world and you're making decisions all the time and you keep making decisions based off of your mind and your body, what your mind and your body want, then you are going to be chastened for doing that. These are the rules of the game. This is how it's operating. I did not make these rules. I do not like them either, because I also have a mind and a body that wants to be in opposition to my love, life force energy. If you keep making decisions based with your mind and body only, you're going to be chastened, because love is what's important, and it's the actual power here. Love itself is the most high frequency. It is the power, and it will not lose. And just like that child, she pulls that, whoever, the child pulls the cat up by the tail. Do we yell at them or chasten them, discipline them out of hate and out of like self-dominating and all these things? We do it out of love. When you teach your child discipline and you correct them when they are doing things that aren't right, you're doing it out of love, because you love your children and you want them to have a good life, and you want them to understand these are the things you do if you want love and respect and joy and peace and kindness, and these are the things you do if you don't want that. That's what's happening to us on a very large scale, because love is the superpower, and love is love, so therefore it loves us. We are of love. We come from love. We're going to return to love. We're being chastened. And there are people that know this, that know that this is how the system operates, and they have intentionally withheld this information. There used to be groups of people that would go and they would spread this information and knowledge and discernment, and the rules of the game they were telling people, and then money got involved. So now those people can't tell the rules, because they're going to lose money. If people don't like the rules, then they won't come and give them their money, which people, quote unquote, are not going to like the rules. They're not going to like it, because you have a mind and a body that doesn't want to do those things. It doesn't change the fact that this is what's happening. The more you align with love, the more joy, peace, contentment, happiness, self-control you're going to have, which means the better your life is going to be. That's just how we do for our children. You discipline them so that their life is better, not so their life is worse because you understand things that they don't understand. So the more you do things of love, the better your life is going to be, and the easier your life is going to be. The more that you, and it's what's good for you. It's what you want anyway. It's what you want. You want love. So the more you align yourself with these things, the easier and the better, and the more love you're going to have in your life. The more you choose anti-love, opposite of love activities, or imbibing in certain emotions and different things like that, the worse your life is going to be, because the further from love you're going to become. You're going to continuously separate yourself from love, and then you cannot have the gifts of love when you are, every action and thought and all these things that you're doing are in opposition to love. It is, you are the enemy of love, and you don't even know you're doing it. Because these systems that are in place, that's what they want. They want double-minded men so they can control them. You are much more easy to manipulate and much easier to control when you are separated from love. Love is the power. Love is the superpower. It gives you strength. Love is what you want, and it's where you want to be. Because once you have love in you, you do not care what other people think. And that is freedom. It's freedom. You choose to align yourself with love, you have freedom. You choose to align yourself opposite of love, you have enslavement. Enslavement by the bare minimum of your mind and your body. That's prone to addiction and prone to all kinds of things. It's prone to being on a slippery slope all the time. If one thing starts, it snowballs. That's how your mind and your body operate. And the solution to all of these things are love. So if you don't know what love is, you have to seek understanding, wisdom, and discernment about what love is so that you can get better. And a lot of people, they know, and they've had a sneaking suspicion that this is the problem, but they've decided to ignore it and stick their head in the sand and not pay any attention, because once you know what love is, and once you know that it is the superpower, it is in charge, it does love you, once you know those things, you are more accountable for your actions than you were previously. But if you even got that little blip in there, it's already in there. So just ignoring it is making the problem worse. Like, you know what love is, and you know you should be doing this, and you know that. Well, what's going to happen is, if you ignore it for so long, it's like having a splinter. You get a splinter on your finger. You know it's a problem. Maybe you take some ibuprofen, maybe stop it from hurting a little bit, or maybe you put an ice cube on it, or put some baking soda on it, or maybe you watch some TV, or maybe you play some video games or whatever to distract yourself. But if you did not take the splinter out, it's getting worse. It's just going to get worse. So if you didn't take it out, this is meaning if you did not acknowledge that you have a problem, of being against love and anti-love of any variety, if you don't acknowledge it and you don't deal with it, it's going to fester. So it's going to fester. It's going to get worse and worse. It's never going to get better until you take the splinter out. So you have the choice. You have the free will to choose to take that splinter out as soon as you recognize it, as soon as you see you have a problem, or you have the free will to procrastinate. And when you do that, now this splinter could have gone from just being a tiny little thing, like you were just doing a couple little things that weren't right, to it infects you and gives you blood poisoning all through your body. So you could start by just doing a couple little things like lying, you know, some lies, and since you didn't deal with it, you end up lying and getting $10 million in debt and lying about some really messed up things, and it leads to, you know, some serious crime of some sort, you know, where you've killed somebody or something like that, you know. And also, if you don't take the splinter out and it spreads and it gives you the blood poisoning, it can kill you. So if you knew that you were doing wrong and you just kept putting your head in the sand and not doing anything about it and letting it get worse and worse and worse, what in essence you are doing is you are continuing to cut yourself off from love. You are continue to separate yourself from love, getting further and further and further away from love. And if you keep messing around with that long enough, it's coming to a time where you have to choose if you're going to cut yourself all the way off or you're going to get back on. And who would, in their right mind, okay, who in their right mind would choose to cut themselves off from love, which is their power, which is where they came from and where they're going to go? People are choosing this as an option by deception. Massive deception, massive systems in place to get you to choose to cut yourself off from love and to give your love to these systems that hate you, in essence. So if you knew and you didn't do anything about it, it's also like this. In the legal system, if you commit a crime, say a DUI, you're 21 years old, whatever, your birthday, you go out and you get drunk and you get a DUI. I'm not condoning this. What I'm saying is, the first time you do that, it's consequences. Obviously, there's consequences. So there's a chastening, a little chastening. You're not going to like it. That means you're going to have repercussions for your actions. But the 5th DUI you get, you knew better. You knew better because you've been there, you've done that, and you keep making the same decision repetitively. So now you're not going to have a driver's license for the rest of your life. So that's exactly how chastening is. If you really didn't know, that something was against love, that's fair. You'll just get a little bit of discipline, like just a little bit of something that will if you are paying attention, you'll be like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I didn't like what happened when I made that choice. But if you keep making the same choice over and over again, and you've had all these warnings of, hey, this isn't a good idea, hey, this is bad for you, this is going to make you sick, this is going to separate you from, you're going to lose your family and all of these things. If you have been warned over and over and over, then the chastening is just going to continue to get worse and worse. Because love does not give. Love is not a pushover parent. Okay? You're going to learn your lesson one way or another, because we love our children. And like I said, I'm saying all these messages out of love and hoping that somebody somewhere will receive this message and be like, oh, I didn't know that's what was happening. I didn't know that was the rules of the game. I didn't understand that this was the system that we're operating in. Maybe I should check out about love and try and do that a little more, because I'm tired of my life being awful. And I'm tired of all the pain and suffering that I'm experiencing. And choose love over pride, fear, hate, guilt, envy, and avoid some of the pain and suffering that comes along with being a souled individual, having a soul, which means coming from love, being of love, having the capacity for love. You're going to have to deal with it. That splinter, people hold on to that splinter until their deathbed. I think it's the pride that's the biggest one. They don't want to admit that they were wrong, that we can't really tell right from wrong with our mind and our body. We can't manipulate the system into making something that's wrong and against love into something that's right and for love and get the benefits of love. So they wait until their deathbed when you can't run anymore, and then they accept the situation and have to acknowledge that they had done things that they shouldn't have done and they knew they didn't do, and you have to say sorry. You have to cry uncle. Nobody is going to get away without crying uncle, because the nature of humanity right now, your mind and your body being in opposition to your soul, your life force, your energy, your spirit, that happened some way, somehow. There's a way out of it. And there is a scripted plan for how this is all going to work out and how we're going to get out of it if you choose love. And push come to shove, if you've ever had love and felt love in your life and you understand love, you're going to choose love. Just don't wait until you're about to get blood poisoning from a splinter and die before you choose love. You could be having a good life filled with joy, peace, contentment, happiness, all of these things, if you just recognize and admit that love is the superpower here, and we can't make the definition of love any different than what it is. So we choose our free will to line up with love, or we use our free will to go in opposition, which means you're an enemy of love, but you don't get your free will to change the definition of love itself. Love is love. No matter what we want or what we do or what we concoct or what we make up, love is love. It's not going to give and change what it is, because it's perfect. And it's what we have in us and what we are going to be totally filled with. And that's the good news. So with that, much love and many thanks. Thank you.